So Surah At-Tauba 9 and Ayat 34. Ya ayyuha allatheena amanooinna katheeran mina al-ahbari warruhbanilaya amwala annasi bilbatiliwayasuddoona an sabeeli wallatheena yaknizoona aththahaba walfiddatawala wala yunfiqoonaha fi sabeeli Allaifabashshirhum biAAathabin aleem. O you who believe, surely the majority from ahbar, the scholars, and ruhban, the terrorists, definitely eat the wealth of the people with falsehood, and they oppose about the way of Allah, and they are those who hoard gold and silver. That is, hoard means that is the supply of food, money, etc., that is carefully guarded for the future. And they do not spend in the way of Allah. They do not spend it in the way of Allah, then give them the good news with the grievous punishment. Now Allah is addressing, Ya ayyuha amanu, O you who believe. So Allah is educating the believers of all times. It is referring that the believers should know, the believers of these ayahs and the believers of Quran and the believers of Islam, that they must know there are scholars, ahbar, and they are terrorists. Who? The ahbar, the scholars and the terrorists, they are, what they do is, they definitely eat the wealth of people with falsehood. They make a fool out of the people. Who? The terrorists. By gunpoints or by education, scholars. Who are scholars? Ahbar are referred as scholars by their knowledge. Because of the knowledge or by force. The terrorist is a person who uses any means to terrorize a person. Who is a terrorist? A person who uses any means to terrorize the person to limit that he can have your wealth. Who is a scholar? By the knowledge. Influence people and ask money. Not by requesting, but make sure that you give money. So there are two groups, the ruhban, the terrorists, and then here we are opening in inverted commas, they are the terrorists of the so-called label Muslims, or they are the terrorists or so-called of the non-Muslims, or the Jews and the Christians, the ahbar or the terrorist. Because both these kind of people you find in all societies of the world. Here we will relate the Quranic ayahs is addressing to the believers. Among the terrorists and among the ahbar, the scholars, meaning the terrorists referred to, the terrorists can be Jews, terrorists can be Christians, and terrorists can be label Muslims. Label Jews, label Christian, label Muslims can be terrorists. Label scholars of Christianity, label scholars of Islam, and label scholars of Jews, Christians and Muslims, label. But their object is to squander wealth. They definitely eat the wealth of the people with falsehood. And they oppose about the way of Allah, and they are those who hold gold and silver. This is the psyche of these two people. From the ordinary people they are doing so. This is how the money, unequal distribution of wealth, you can see that this money of wealth has been hoarded by these scholars and by the terrorists. And they do not spend it in the way of Allah. So this referred to they have to spend in the way of Allah. Those among the believers, they are not spending in the way of Allah. Then give them the good news with the grievous punishment. So Allah says, give them the good news with the grievous punishment to who? Who are doing this? Who are ahbar, the scholars, and ruhban, the terrorists? Among the Jews and the Christian label Muslim scholars and the Jews label Muslim terrorists. I'm relating, right? I'm giving you the label. Why I'm giving the word? Because you will find out who are those people. Anyway,